Okay, so this is the second part of the primer. So this is the 2K primer, or the urethane primer. So the first step was the epoxy primer, which I had sanded down and looked pretty good. And this is the urethane primer that goes over that. So just sprayed it about an hour ago. It's drying right now. Looks pretty good. You can see it's really nice and smooth. I do have a couple of kind of runs, but not too bad. I think I'm kind of getting the hang of the spray gun and spraying everything properly. So you can see there's one run here right on these corners, but for the most part it went on pretty smoothly. Top looks really smooth. A lot of the the major surfaces are nice and smooth, no runs or anything there, and so it should sand pretty nicely, hopefully, and we'll be able to do the base coat next. So there's the hood. So there's a couple spots on the hood that I will have to sand, especially up front there. You can see it's a little bit uneven. So I'll sand those. I might have to prime them again because there's a couple of areas that might need a little bit of filler again, and there is a couple of pinholes. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. So there's a couple pinholes that right there you go. So I'll have to try and fill those and then probably prime it again. And there's a couple of pinholes. Try not to make you too dizzy. Here in kind of the rockers, right there. If I can get it focused, right there. And I think on the doors as well, kind of where I thought I had some, I knew I was going to have some pinholes there as well. So I've got to go around, fill those in after I get it sanded down, and then I'll probably shoot just another coat of the urethane primer over the top of where I do the filler, and then it'll be onto the base coat. So the base coat, the color I'm using is going to be kind of this bright green, lime green type color, and it does require it's a kind of a two-step base it's a pure white base, and then the green is actually a mid coat. So it'll be two steps, but again, gives me more practice to spray, and hopefully by the time I go with the green my confidence will be up. But it might be a little while since I have to do a little bit more work here, sanding, filling, priming again, and then I am going to wet sand this primer. So I will probably do just a dry sand with 320 grit, and then I'll do some wet sanding after that, probably 600, and we'll see how it goes. So this is my little prep area. It's a little bit messy right now. I had just finished, but I just kind of wanted to show what I've used so far, and also kind of this is kind of the schedule that I wrote out of basically what I'll be doing. So I did the epoxy primer. I sanded that with 320 grit. And then I just did the primer surfacer, and I'm going to sand that with 320, and then I'll do wet sanding at 400 and 600, and then onto the base coat and possibly a clear coat. I don't necessarily need to do the clear coat, but we'll see how it looks after I do the base coat. So the first primer I used, like I said, was an epoxy primer. And it's this one from Summit. It's this GTM epoxy primer, and that's the catalyst for it. So it's just a 1-to-1 primer. You can see it's that dark gray. And then the second part is the urethane primer from Eastwood. This is just a 2K urethane primer surfacer. There's the activator for it. The 2K primer is quite a bit thicker, so I did use also about 10 to 15% of the urethane reducer, and that seemed to thin it out quite a bit, so it sprayed pretty nicely. So I am also using, I think I showed the DeVilbiss D-Cups system, which is really nice actually. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but these are the kind of the main parts to it, and then there's the disposable liners that go inside. So basically the only part of the gun that gets dirty and you have to clean are the nozzle and just basically where the paint goes in and comes out. And it's really easy to clean. You don't have to clean. This stays pretty clean because it's a liner that goes inside. So far it's been working out really well. And the nice thing about it is it uses these cups, liners that go inside, and they're collapsible. So basically once you get it all set up, you hold the gun upside down and release the trigger, and it squeezes all the air out of it. And when you go to spray, basically you can spray upside down and everything, and you still get paint coming out. So it works really well. I'm pretty happy with it. And the last thing I forgot to mention, so the gun that I'm using is just a DeVilbiss HVLP. This is the starting line, so it's not their top high quality gun, but it works pretty well for beginner and for what I need it to do. And I just got a kit that came with 2 guns, so basically I've been using this one for all the primer, and it has a 1.5 tip. And then I also have down there in the box another gun which I'll use to spray the base coat, and it also comes with a 1.3 tip, so I'll use that one for the base coat. Alright, so I sprayed the base coat, or the ground coat, which is basically just a pure white. Looks pretty good. There was just one run that I took care of, but for the most part looks pretty good. And I'm getting ready to spray the mid coat, which is a green with some pearl, and hopefully it'll come out as nice as the white did. So white looks pretty good so far. There's the doors, the hatch, and the mirrors. So we'll see how it goes.